Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Chil Kong, and I'm the artistic director here at Adventure Theater. We're so happy that you're here today to join us for our. Oh, I'm getting an echo. This is the beauty of live. This is why you know it's live. So we are here to celebrate our premiere of Luchadora by Alvaro Saar Rios, and will be directed by Ricky Ramon. This is such an amazing thing because everyone, we are here and going to be doing a live in-person production. Opening Sunday, August. This is our sneak peek. Opening in September, in a couple of weeks. So, a couple of house cleaning things that we have to do before we get all started. First, our amazing academy that we've been able to go from in-person, award-winning to digital, online, and now we're coming back in person, is we have our pre-professional in-person auditions on September 1st. That is Wednesday, September 1st. So we'd love to see you. There's still plenty of time to sign up. We still have a few slots left. So please, kids out there, come join us. We have a remarkable team of teaching artists, teaching all the skill sets that you need for musical theater. And we would love to see you here and join our family at Adventure Theater. We also have our full course schedule for our academy, but if you're not ready for the full course schedule, we've done a new flex system now where you can select and take lighter class load so that you can join us, take a few digitally and a few online, as well as coming in person. But we'd love to see you, so please take a look at Conservatory, our classes on our website, to check out what classes are available, and come on out and join us. We also, of course, have one more weekend for our Fairy Tales in the Sun production throughout the Labor Day weekend. So we would love to see you. It is a full slate of shows. So take a look at our website. Go to atmtc.org and check out our shows. We'd love to see you this coming weekend. It also looks like it's going to be clear and not too hot. So we're excited to have you come on out and do something fun for Labor Day and join us for the show. And lastly, we do this every week, once a week. And we need all the help we can get. Please consider donating to us at atmtc.org. Again, please consider donating at atmtc.org. We are, of course, like many, ramping up for in-person, and we do have a shortfall coming at the end of this year. We'd love to close out this year by making sure that we meet our revenue goals and our fundraising goals for this year. We're coming about 50K short, so we'd love to see you. Any help that you can give us, we would really appreciate. Donations for the end of the year would be fantastic. Get it in there before Labor Day weekend. We still can account it to our fiscal year. So again, come to atmtc.org and donate today. We would love your help. All right, so now back to Luchadora. So we have our directors here who's going to join us, as well as our costume designer and our set designer. Come on out, Ricky. Come on out, Jeannette and Harlan. Thank you for joining me today. Ricky, yes. So all of you, let me introduce everyone. Ricky Ramon is our director for Luchadora. We're very fortunate to have him also because he was one of the first directors of this piece when it was being developed.
The first one.
Yeah. So he's had a long journey with this piece, and we're thankful that he's brought his history and his knowledge of this, plus the culture that Luchadora brings, and share it with Jeannette Christensen, who is a Helen Hayes Award winner. Thank you for joining us, Jeannette.
Well, nominee. I didn't win, sadly.
She's always a winner in my eyes.
But we did get nominated for Elephant and Piggy at Adventure, which I think won other things, but
Oh, see, I love the piece.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and Harlan, with you're a gift to us because you were brought in by Ricky
Yes.
as a set designer, and so I love what this team has really put together. And so this is an opportunity, all you kids out there, to see a little bit of the show and get an idea about the process. And so we're going to start with Ricky talking about his collaborative directing process. And for all you kids out there, what we're talking about really is how a director sets the environment of the rehearsal. So all of the Academy students, please listen, because this is really cool. It's a different style of directing that not every one of you may know. So Ricky, do you want to kind of roll us into that?
Absolutely. So for me, I have this philosophy that theater and art should be very collaborative with the people who are making it. I always walk into a rehearsal space saying, I'm the director, I'm here. I'm not going to have all the answers. As a matter of fact, I don't have all the answers. And I expect us as a team to work through these issues and questions and problems that arrive as we're putting on this show as a team. And so, for instance, today, I'm actually in rehearsal right now, so you might get a sneak peek. You might hear them too in the background. There's a lot of wrestling in this show, so you'll hear some loud noises happening behind me. But today, for instance, we're talking about the magic in the show and how I could definitely go through the script, read it a billion times, which I have, and point out all the areas where I think are magical. But I didn't want to be that person to say, here's where all the magic happens in the show. I instead, because I believe in collaboration, I instead pose the question to my actors and performers and designers, where are those moments where you think magic is happening, and how does magic sound like, feel like, look like, from any perspective, from a costumer's perspective, from a set designer's perspective, from a lighting, sound, performance perspective. And so we just finished having a conversation with my performers that where we were talking about magical moments in the show. And I don't expect my actors and my performers to be like, just tell me where the moments of magic are, but I expect them to tell me what they see. So define why is this a magical moment for me? So we work through that as a group. We study that moment, and anyone, even people who didn't think that moment was magical, has a say so on how we create the magic of that moment.
So for everyone out there, what I really loved is watching Ricky work with our designers here, Jeannette and Harlan, because our first production meeting for everyone, when we do a first production meeting, all the designers share their ideas and we start talking about what the different designs look like. And it was interesting to watch because the collaborative process wasn't just like between the director and the designer, but also the designers, you all talk to each other. So what I'd love to hear is like Jeannette and Harlan, like what your thought process was, is have you experienced this before? Like what was that like for the two of you?
Well, I can start off. Hello, everyone, and Adventure Theater Land students. And I would just say that as far as starting out, I wanted to make sure that I stayed true to the culture. And I just wanted to make sure that as an audience member, when you walked into that theater, we knew that this was something of Hispanic heritage, something that kind of grounded us in the culture, whether it be colors. I'm sure the music, that's how sound design is tied into, So that was really my main focus. I wanted to make sure that the culture was on display. And so that's kind of where Ricky and I kind of started. How do we, without beating you over the head, let us know that this is something in that Hispanic, Aztecian, northern Mexico, South Texas feeling. So that's kind of where I started out.
Yeah. And so,
I think Harlan, thank you very much for those kind words. I think collaboration. So collaboration to me means listening to the other party, whoever I'm talking to, and taking what they have to say and what their expertise is, and letting that person know that what they're saying and sharing is of value. And I let it shape my storytelling. So I tell the actors and designers that the job of the director is to direct the storytelling. The job of the actor is to direct the character in the storytelling. And the job of designers is to direct the design of the story. And we put it all together because we're on the same page. But we can't be on the same page if we're not having conversations. So Harlan and I, Jeannette and I, because we know each other, we've been on the phone a lot. We've been emailing each other a lot. So we have this cool friendship, professional relationship happening, where we just bounce off ideas. And even my designers know that I'm not going to have all the answers, right? We all have one thing in common, and that's the story, the text. And from there, we're able to bounce off ideas. What do you think about this? And if we do this, is it going to affect lighting? If we do this, is it going to affect the actors on stage? And so just having that constant communication and allowing it to be free and fluid, and never, this is one thing that's, I think, part of my mantra as a human being, never say no to an idea. I think we should say yes to every idea. It may not happen, but what I mean by yes is validating that person. Yes, thank you for that idea. It might not make it in the show, but thank you. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And then the other thing also, and I'd love to hear what Jeannette has to say about our working relationship. I also think that true collaboration, even though we're like pegged into these like professional like positions, like I've mentioned to Harlan, I mentioned to Jeannette, I've mentioned to the performers that they might have an idea for something that they're not specifically in charge of. Jeannette might have an idea for Harlan that may change the direction in which he was going in, right? And I don't want anyone to be the gatekeeper and hold on to their ideas. In a true collaborative space, everyone's ideas should just be thrown out on the table, and then we take the ones that best help us to effectively tell a great story.
Yeah.
Right, Jeannette?
Yeah, well, when Ricky reached out to me to design this show, I was very excited. Having worked with Ricky before, I just know there's a trust in our collaborative relationship, if you will, where we can have extensive conversations, and we can point out our challenges. I can say, hey, there's like probably this very quick change, and then we can talk through how we think that works by spitballing ideas back and forth until we land on something. So yeah, I love working with Ricky. This is my first time working with Harlan, but we've had extensive conversations already. I think your sketches and ideas are awesome. We're working off the same color palette and things like that. So I don't think we'll clash or anything, and it's been great.
What I love is, because for some of you who have seen these first rehearsal presentations, we have actually a lot of our students who have seen those. They've come to usually before they used to come to these first rehearsal things, and it was very presentational. And what people don't understand is all the conversations that lead up to that, and the many changes that happen after that. And so my question to the three of you, and I'd love to start with Jeannette, is like, how many adjustments did you have from your first idea in the production meeting to now? Because it was the flying by of emails and discussions were just a lot, and it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I think each character developed a little bit over the process of conversations. I think Nana Lupita was one that we had extensive conversations about, in talking about like what abuela could look like, how different it is. It's not, grandmas are not always white hair and glasses, which is, we didn't want to fall into anything like stereotypical with any of the characters. We wanted to be authentic and in our representation of, as Harlan said, the culture and each character, and just bring to life the beauty that exists within Tejano and Mexican American culture, and what the script speaks to. Also, female empowerment is very prominent in this show. So how can we be feminine and be strong was a thing that brought up in conversation. So that's where I started and how it developed.
I know from a set design standpoint, I kind of had to, just being that the space is small, so we kind of had to decide on the logistical part first. Where's the ring going to be at? How's it going to be discovered?
The size of the ring, remember?
Yeah, the size of the ring. That was a big to do. And some musicals are like that. Some are very more logistical as far as movement and moving people around. Even though this is not a musical per se, but I mean, it might as well be a musical. But
if I have anything to do, anything I touch becomes a musical. Trust. Sorry, Alvaro. It is now Luchadora the musical.
I would love that version.
But that was the size of the ring. So once we were able to really decide on the space and how people moved around, then I was able to start dealing with the design elements.
Yeah, in fact, actually, we can transition to the next part, which is talking about the design. I know, Kirsten, if you can pull up the first image. Yes. So this is the one with the ring closed. I know this is an older version of your draft, correct, Harlan?
I think that's one of the more later ones.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to just, as you and Harlan and Jeannette, as you all like presented these things to each other, what are the adjustments that you made with this piece? So I know, like, this is not three-dimensional, so you can't see, but that center flat with the beautiful colors is essentially covering the ring, right?
Correct. Right. Covering the ring, and then basically it's two. Where you see the doorways, those are two big flats that move in and out. That hides the ring. So right now they're covering the ring. The two flats, the two purple turquoise squares with the posters, those move, and then it opens up, and you'll see in the next picture. Then we have the ring. Oh, there we go.
Yay!
There. And
so Jeannette, I know you had some questions with the colors, right? Because we have some really vibrant costumes.
No, yes, it's gonna be very colorful.
Well,
I have to say.
There's a reason why it's very colorful, because in our first initial meetings, I said I really want to honor, Alvaro and I are both from Texas, and even though it's a fictional small town in Texas in the script, I focused on where I grew up, which is the San Antonio area. And San Antonio, if you've been to San Antonio, or SA, as people say, hey, I'm going to SA. If you know that the missions are there, the Catholic missions are there, the Alamo's there, so there's a lot of cultural American history there. But there's also, we celebrate fiesta there, so El Mercado's there. Even the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs highlight fiesta and this Mexican culture, even in their uniforms, with these bright like aquas and pinks in there. And so that's what I told the designers, that I really want to focus on these Mexican fiesta colors that you see throughout San Antonio. So that's where these colors are coming from.
And also, if I may add, I started researching Mexican artists, and I know everyone knows Diego Rivera, so I didn't really want to choose him. And I found Alfredo Ramos Martinez, who did a lot of floral work, and flowers is a constant theme in this piece. And so a lot of the flower work you see on the panels are literally me kind of replicating that style of loose hand painting in the design. So that's kind of where a lot of those colors came from too, from those bright, vivid, saturated flowers.
Yeah, and these are going to be hand painted too, which adds to a lovely touch to that. So this is a great transition actually for Jeannette and her design. So if we want to pull up that, Kirsten, I would say I was floored with the designs with the both of you, but I love these. Like,
Yeah, as Harlan said, the flowers exist. I mean, Lupita had a flower stand that she's selling. If you look at traditional dress of Mexico, they have, you can scroll through, that's fine as I'm talking. They have this floral embroidery detail that they use. It's gorgeous. And traditionally it's done by hand. Commercially it's done by machine. And if you're in the San Antonio area, apparently you can buy these dresses at your local grocery stores and markets. So you can keep going. So I incorporated that floral detail in basically all the characters as much as I could, because it was just so stunning. Elihua is the son of Dragon Azul, so we put his blue in there, blue detail with some yellow. He is our villain. And then one challenge that we were running into is the changes, because we have 8 or 9 people, and we're playing several different characters. So thinking about how we can underdress, which is putting these singlets, like this gold one here, under clothes, so that they can change, and then layering on top so they can change into other characters. But then by the end of the show, when we get into the championship, then there's this big reveal of Mascara Rosa and Elihua for their fight scenes. For our masks, our Luchador and Luchadora masks, we purchased them from mask makers of Mexico. So they did not come from Amazon or wherever. They are made cheaply. We wanted to support an actual mask maker. And speaking of mask makers, she embodies that they had a almost like Selena kind of homage culture, oh my God. Ricky,
you know that was coming. You know that was coming.
Y'all don't know how much I love Selena. She is one of my childhood heroes.
We had to channel her.
Selena will be in the show. I love.
Like growing up in America, if you watch WWE with like in the 90s per se, like Hulk Hogan, Mysterio. For me, it was the female, like Lena and Trish were like my WWE. Like I was fans of that. So we also played homage into that when we were designing the wrestling looks. Ring announcer, no spoilers, but spoilers will be sparkly. It's like when Ricky says he's like has to have a musical, I'm always like, yes, we have to have sparkle. Basically, I love a moment to put disco ball in. And then Father here, there's a moment where he is trying on his Mascara Rosa costume, so look out for that.
Yeah, and you talked about the era of this, right? And which is
yes.
the influence of this with you and Ricky, you two. So what was that?
So the era. So Nana Lupita is telling her story of when she was younger. So Nana Lupita and Vanessa live in today's world, 2020, and as Nana tells her story, we are flashed back into the later 60s, 70s. I think like Ricky, you can help me out of where exactly we are, but we've created our own world from the period using the style of 60s, 70s fashion. So that's why Lupita has bell bottoms. We're all in Converse and jeans and denim and button-down shirts that don't fit us very well, but look amazing. And yeah, and also the traditional floral embroidery and colors of the fiesta melded into one is where the design.
Yeah, what I love is that with as you all discussed with Ricky, that it wasn't about purely replicating an era, but having these lovely senses and essences of eras, and about being that it wasn't about replicating an actual cultural reference, but about making sure that we have the essence, that the pure part of it is there, but that it's coloring everything else within the scenes and the costumes. So it was beautiful the way it all ties together. So, Ricky?
Yeah, and when you recall a memory, so this is another thing too about as we tackle the storytelling, it's a memory play. So when you think about a memory, do you remember it exactly the way it happened? There have been times I'm getting to that age. I'm 44, so I'm getting to that age where I'm sharing stories with my students, or like for instance, um, at my brother's funeral just recently, I was sharing a story with my nephews and nieces, and I was telling them, "You remember when we were blah blah blah?" And they're like, "Theo, we weren't even born." And I'm like, "Sure, yes, you were. You were there. I remember what you said, what you wore." And so now I'm placing people who weren't even in my memory in memories that are very special to me. And so books have been written on how human beings remember memories, and do memories get brighter and better and more magical as we continue to retell these stories? And I think they do. Nana Lupita's memories are getting bigger, more vibrant, more magical as she tells this story, even if those people weren't in the original story. I mean, that's just the way memories work.
Yeah, I actually, kids, y'all out there, remember this is very similar to when you're saying something. You remember one word that was the most important word that made you remember that memory, right? Well, that is then everything else can change. Sometimes you remember it right, sometimes you don't. And that's okay. What we're talking about is using that one word and making that be the grounding force so that when you tell this story or retell that moment, you use that one word to really tell it. And that's what Ricky and Jeannette and Harlan have done a remarkable job of doing. And as you can see, this is such an amazing way to make sure that you all, when you come to the show, will see and feel and have a really great way of experiencing the time and someone's memory with images and shapes and little details. So what I hope you all do when you come out to see the show, everyone, is to notice the little details that are in the costumes and that are in the beautiful set backdrops and even in what's going to happen on the ring, because everything will be there and they'll have done by purpose the way Ricky, Harlan, and Jeannette had really set it out. So as you can see, everything has a reason. And this is why I love working with Ricky, is that they're all collaborated together. It's all these jigsaw puzzles that are brought together to have one singular purpose. And that's to make sure that you see a really fun show.
And can I say one thing? Thank you for that. Like when you're in the theatrical space, you need to be paying attention to every detail. But here's an added bonus. There are going to be some Easter eggs in scenes, and an Easter egg in some scenes is like, what is that prop, or what does that have to do with this scene? That you will not know until maybe 2 or 3 scenes later. Like, oh, it all makes sense. And that's what I mean by Easter eggs. You got to hunt for them.
It's the kids now have been fully trained in the Easter eggs because of all the Marvel and the superhero things. So they're going to be in here. So I'd love to see what y'all think about, kids. And if you see something, that's the difference with our show at Adventure, is that we love when you say something, go, oh, I saw that. We would love to hear it if you do that. We're excited about the show. Thank you again. I'm going to wrap this all up because I know Ricky has to go back to actually rehearsal. He's skipping rehearsal right now, just so you know. And as Elihua. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Jeannette. Thank you, Harlan, for joining me and presenting your lovely pieces. Ricky, I love how the three of you have brought something all together. We have lots of other design teams. We have Alberto, who is our light designer. We have Nikki, who is our sound designer. We also have props and multiple other things that we can't wait for you to see. So please join us. September. Am I going to get the date wrong now? September 16th is our first preview. So come join us that weekend and sign up and buy tickets. I know actually we've already sold a bunch of tickets. So please sign up. They're actually starting to go. I know that you're all excited. It feels like we're getting a handle on all this COVID soon. So we can't wait to see you all. This is for all ages. As you can see in the design, there'll be something for everyone. thank you all. We'll see you all. I'm going to close out with a bunch of stuff, but thank you all. Bye. So, yay. Thank you again for joining us today. We had to steal some time away from our production so that they can do this little presentation. I hope you're excited as I am to see this piece. We're so lucky to have Ricky and Jeannette and Harlan. These are amazing artists, and they are the backbone of theater. It's not theater companies, it's them. These artists are the ones that create the stories and make these things happen. And a special thank you to Alvaro, who has become a really great friend, an amazing storyteller. They gave us this gift called Luchadora so that we can present it this September. So please join us. Okay, so again, we do this once a week. Please donate if you can. Go to atmtc.org. That's atmtc.org. We do have, we are trying all the financial things that we had to do to get us ramped up for our season of in-person, like going live, did cost a lot, and we just need as much help as we can to help us close out the season. Again, our classes are up, so please join us. September 1st is going to be our auditions for our pre-pro, and then we have a varied flex schedule for our classes at the Academy. So please check out the classes and let us know what you'd like to take. We know that we want to be as flexible as we can as people come back to us in person. And again, donate. Oh, yes, and our last weekend of shows. Come see Fairy Tales in the Sun. It has been a joy to watch audiences as they get excited about the show, and we have had lots of fun presenting it. It looks like the weekend will be remarkable and clear, and actually not in the 90s. It'll be actually somewhere in the 80s. So come join us. We hope that you join us live and in person to see the show. Buy the ticket as soon as you can. And again, lastly, please visit atmtc.org and donate today. We really could use your help to make sure that we are on the right journey as we come in person and get us through the financial struggles that we've had to get us into in person. We could use your help. Again, love you all. Can't wait to see you soon. Bye.